So I'll talk a little about trekking and the group that I'm very active in, the Chennai Trekking Club, which I founded like 2008, some 6 years ago. We recently celebrated our 6th birthday. Last week, I believe, we crossed the 21,000 member headcount. So it's basically a volunteer, non-profit, volunteer-based organization that is basically nothing more than an online platform which allows anyone adventurous, outdoor-minded to connect and reach out to other people and basically engage in outdoor events throughout the year. So just a little bit about myself. So I'm basically from Belgium, master's in computer science. I came to India, basically Chennai in '98. Since then settled down here for the last 16 years. After I came to India, I was really enthralled by the beauty of the subcontinent. Got myself one of these city bikes, Enfield Bullets, and kind of explored a lot to the Western Ghats, went to the Himalayas 4 times over the last decade solo. So I really was impressed by a lot of beauty, Western Ghats, Himalayas, Eastern Ghats, a lot of beautiful things. So somewhere 6 years ago, I kind of got more into kind of trekking. So used to go to initially the well-known places like say Tala waterfalls, 1 hour north of Chennai. Used to go to Jinji Fort, Shaklespur, railway track between Bangalore and Mangalore. So kind of the known places. And very soon kind of I started connecting with other people in Chennai, first in the office and then outside the office, to kind of explore the lesser known trails in South India. So I'll just show you a couple of visuals, of things we do in the group. So one of the big differences of this kind of group is that if you go trekking in the US, let me stand in front of the video camera. If you go trekking like in Europe or the US, right, you will always kind of follow the trails. You kind of go along designated trails. So in this group actually we kind of do real wilderness trekking. So we go in virgin jungles, mountain ranges. We don't follow any specific trails. So this is basically the trail. You will walk in dense vegetation or walk across a dry riverbed that runs in through the mountain, and you create your own trail basically. We go to all the 4 southern states, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. There are a lot of beautiful places in South India. We trek throughout the year, almost every 52 weekends of the entire year we do kind of outdoor activities. Initially we started with trekking, but in the last recent years we kind of diversified a lot in all kinds of outdoor activities like cycling, motorcycling, 3-4 days, motorbiking, camping in the outdoors, say in the Western Ghats. We also kind of diversified in sports. We are organizing the Chennai Trail Marathon every year. And a lot of other activities as we'll see. So one exciting thing about trekking is that, if you don't follow predefined trails, you come across beautiful places. So can anyone tell me, for example, which place this is and how far it would be from Chennai? Tala is not, maybe little. It's indeed the rock formations look like Tala. I guess it's somewhere in the Eastern Ghats, correct? So this is actually a valley, like a deeply cut gorge, somewhere in the Tirumala range, the Venkateswara National Reserve Forest. So once you say, if you go to the temple in Tirumala, you walk like 10 kilometers through the mountains, and the forest will come across these kind of beautiful places. Amazing rock formations formed over hundreds of thousands of years. Crystal clear water streams. You can actually trek and drink from the stream. It's like pure water, rainwater that has been filtered naturally through rocks and crevices. So this is typically kind of the gears we trek along. So when I say trekking, we're always trekking, right? So we don't go to villages or known trails. We kind of get into the jungle for 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 days without any contact with the outside world. So we have to carry all the gears with us to survive. Food, or camping gears, like sleeping bags, torches for the night, ropes for climbing, topographic maps we have here, GPS systems to kind of find our way along the wilderness. This is like a typical kind of set that everyone will be carrying. One Yeah, if anyone has any questions on that, you can speak up anytime. So this is like what we call like a topographic map. I'm not sure, a little more technical thing, how many people are familiar with that. But topographic map is basically a map that, a contour map, has contour lines that gives you a very good idea about the terrain, like where are the peaks, where are the valleys, where are the ridges. So basically allows you to kind of identify how to get through this kind of three-dimensional terrain, following valleys, connecting valleys with ridges, and where to find water in all those places. So topographic maps have become available of India only recently. What you see here is like an old Russian army map, which we were able to find somewhere on the internet, again from the same place, Venkateswara National Reserve Forest, which is a valuable tool to kind of make your own trails. I mean, if you have these maps, you don't need a trail, you can go anywhere. Nice thing about these old maps is that you can still find very ancient, like 100-year-old jeep tracks which go in the middle of the mountains, like old in British forest houses, rest houses, which were built so many years ago. So we've used these maps to actually go deep inside and still uncover some of the ruins of like 100 years ago. So along with the map, actually, you use something called a GPS. So I guess people are now quite familiar with GPS systems because everyone has a GPS built into their smartphone. So GPS is basically a thing that allows you to kind of identify your current position with the latitude, longitude, and will allow you basically to identify on your map, on screen map or paper map, where exactly you are located. So you can plan your trail right to your planned destination. So GPS with your location will also kind of tell you your altitude, so you can get an altitude profile of your trail. So I'll just show you a couple of pictures of the beautiful things we have discovered. So this is again just 3 hours from Chennai, again in the Tirumala Hills, beautiful waterfalls. This is one of the largest gorges we have ever discovered there. It's like half a kilometer long. It's 100 meters deep and it's just hardly 5 meters wide. So you can imagine if you go with a group of 20 people, some people are not, it's fully submerged with water. So you actually have to go across this natural obstacle with non-swimmers, with a lot of backpacks, right? Because you're on, say, a 9 or a 10-day trek. So you kind of have to make your floating devices to kind of overcome these natural obstacles. Same with waterfalls. Mostly we trek along the streams because there is the presence of water. A stream provides a clearance in the dense vegetation, so we trek along the streams. But once in a while the stream will drop down in a beautiful waterfall and you'll have a kind of a challenge to get around the stream and go from top to bottom or bottom to top. These are some of the discoveries we made on some of these treks. So somebody was talking about Tada. This is a stone like 1913, so I guess now 101 years old, which we found somewhere on the top of Tada. If people who are familiar with the Tada waterfall, it's quite famous tourist spot. So if you climb on top of those 100-meter high falls and you go a little bit deeper inside, you still find some like very old outpost, which probably was used to kind of overlook the Bay of Bengal from a 700-meter altitude. Here you can see also a jeep track, like a very 100-year-old jeep track, which we found on some of these old US Army maps, Russian and Soviet Army maps. Here you see one of those rest houses which we discovered, not used anymore for so many decades. And this place is in Nalappuram. This is also deep inside the mountains, some very old big statue, 2 meter high, and like beautifully carved in 3D. Like an old temple deep inside the jungle, which we discovered by incident. So trekking is very exciting. It's not only nature, but sometimes you can also find beautiful old ancient relics when humanity was still, walking across trails or getting in these places with jeep tracks. So, one thing about trekking, I would say, is one very key thing is that you're actually stretching your physical and mental boundaries, right? I say wilderness trekking, so you don't walk like on a trail, like you go for a 5-kilometer walk along Marina Beach. It's really all about overcoming unexpected obstacles. Like in this case, we're walking in a gorge, so 100-meter rock vertical on both sides of the valley. You walk inside it and all of a sudden you come across a deep water obstacle, a water pool. So you kind of have to kind of make floats to carry non-swimmers, backpacks, camping gears, food from one side to the others to kind of proceed your journey. Otherwise you might have to go sometimes 5 kilometers back to the beginning of the gorge, climb around it to kind of surmount this obstacle. So that kind of thing is really interesting because the whole group has to work together here and kind of overcome these kind of natural challenges. So there's a lot of bonding and kind of teamwork going on these treks. Here you can see some other obstacles which we frequently encounter. So kind of as we walk along the stream, there will be kind of differences in density in the rock or softness of the rock, which suddenly leads to a waterfall. Here you can see like a more narrow gorge, hardly 2 meters wide, where we have to use ropes basically to come from one end to the other end, fully again submerged with water. So making it extra challenging to move people and luggages across to the other side. So beautiful, I mean, time passed by. This is a bit, I'm showing some of the tougher kind of treks we do, but there are all kinds of levels of treks, easy, moderate, difficult. But don't be scared by some of the photos you're seeing. You can step into something easy and then slowly scale up to something more difficult. Here you see a photo from the Western Ghats. It's actually a famous peak. It's called Ombadigude. It's in the Kabinali Reserved Forest, somewhere near Shaklespoor. Beautiful place, especially in the monsoon. Very lush green peaks covered with grass. If you go deeper into the valleys, you come to dense forest. So, and again, here you see a typical campsite, how we kind of survive the night, survive the rains in the places. So, I mean, you don't really carry those heavy imported tents which are expensive, a little heavy. We just make camps based on tarpaulin sheets. 200 rupee, 6 by 9 feet tarpaulin sheet is enough to cover, make a proper campsite for 6 people. So then we use sleeping mats, sleeping bags to kind of get through the night, which is sometimes pretty chill. So this is what happens at the end of the day. So this is anyway what you see in the villages also. We put some stones together, get firewood from around the place, set down somewhere in a flat space where we can sleep comfortably next to the stream, where we find drinking water for cooking, for the morning duties then the next morning, and that's basically the place where we socialize at the end of the day after a hard day's trekking to overcoming so many obstacles. Typical food is Maggi noodles on the end of the day because it's easy, it's lightweight to carry, and it preserves over so many days. And so no better way to socialize kind of than to push as a team together through some very tough trekking, and then at the end of the day you make a campfire, you sit around, you chat, you reflect back on the day's journey and the plan ahead. Sometimes we also encounter some wildlife. So here you can see, this is a photo taken along a stream. So this was taken during a 9-day trek somewhere in 2011, I think. It's a big biton, it's quite a sizable animal. Diameter is at least some 20 to 30 centimeters, and it's at least 4 to 5 meters long. You can see the head over here. So we were actually swimming with a couple of people, 6 people were there in this trek, in the same stream. After that we started walking for like 200 meters, and suddenly when I was going ahead of the group I saw one guy enjoying the sun basically. It's a cold-blooded animal, so it was soaking up the heat of the sun to regulate its body temperature. So it looks a little scary, but again, in terms of wildlife, we never had any kind of fatal encounters. Wildlife is actually the least dangerous thing on these treks compared to some other elements. This, anyone knows what this is?
Leech.
Yeah, leeches indeed. So this again, I mean, mostly in the Eastern Ghats where we focus on, we don't come across this. But these little buggers need a lot of moisture and places where it rains a lot. So this is a photo from, again, that's the Karnataka side, the Western Ghats, where it's like very moist, and these guys will be there, except for a few months in the summer, they will always be present. So this gives an excellent challenge for the trekkers. Looks a little scary and yucky, but it's not much of problem with this. It will hardly suck 20 ml of blood from you. So.
Are you trying to encourage trekking or
I'm just showing you some photos, I guess, some more of the challenging treks. But again, in the eastern Ghats, I mean, you don't have these little bloodsuckers because they don't survive here with the heat and the dryness. So, sorry again. So here again, I mean, once in a while, right? So we have some 20,000 members in the group. So not all of them are active. When I say 20 members, 20,000 members, it's just a mailer list where 20,000 people have subscribed. I would estimate at any moment of time that there are some 3, 4, 5,000 members who are really active, so participating in the outdoor events. So easily every month we take out some 100, 200 people. So over the years, 6 years that we existed, I think we would have taken out some 15, 20,000 people in the forest. So obviously once in a while something can happen. This guy actually slipped somewhere actually quite deep inside the mountains, so we had to, he had a small fracture in his foot. So we kind of had to make, like, from bamboos or wood sticks, a self-made stretcher to carry him out, as he was not able to kind of easily, I mean, without pain, walk on his foot. So he's perfectly okay, Rajiv, but he had a bit of an experience of a lifetime. It took us 1.5 days to get him out from the jungle. So a little bit more about, I mean, what is all related to the trekking, right? If you organize a trek, so typically we go out with some 20-25 people in the weekend. So if you see people with like backpacks, thermocol mats, Saturday early morning at 3 o'clock, so you can probably think, oh, these are the Chennai Trekking Club guys. We typically have 3 assembly points, Tidal, Gindi and Koyambeda, where people will assemble on Saturday 3 to 4 a.m. and then we come back after 2 days on Sunday evening. So if you go out with 20 people and organize the trek, there are various volunteering activities involved. So it's not like we're like a travel company, we do everything and people pay us. No, it's like a non-profit group. Everyone will share the expense of transportation, food, and everyone actually contributes to a trek. It's not like there's one main organizer. So some people will help with the trail planning using maps, some people will make a cooking fire or campfire, some people will take care of assembly of the people in the city. Some people are there to do photographic coverage of the trek. We have a lot of beautiful photos on Facebook. Some people in cars. We basically pool together cars and bikes for the trek. Some people go shopping on Friday evening for the food. Some people will be blogging about the experience. One guy will volunteer for the accounts. So it's like a nice kind of team effort where everyone in the group, doesn't matter whether you're experienced or new to the trek, you will always contribute in one way or the other. So it really makes people involved and they feel part of the entire experience and group. Here you can see our website. So this is basically the website which I set up in February 2008 to kind of reach out to other people. And so basically, after we did some 10 initial treks to unknown places, I just published photos, write-up of the experiences online, put a big box there, interested to join, just enter your email ID and people become part of the group. They receive invites for all the upcoming treks. So this worked very well. With the help of Google, actually, people were able to find us very quickly. More recent years, it's more like Facebook, which allows us to spread out experiences and photos very fast and reach out to hundreds of people out there. So I would say after 3 months of setting up this website, I was actually going on treks almost on a weekly basis with a group size of 15 to 20 people. So very soon, some 5 to 10 people every day were kind of joining the group. So which explains again that there was really a big young crowd here that really was looking for some outdoor opportunities outside the weekday work. So the whole platform is basically built on non-profit software. So I'm not going to go into too much technical detail. So it's all based on a lot of Google tools, creating invites, signing up for a trek, publishing photos, sharing photos, and all that's Google Maps for trail planning. So up till here I was talking a little bit about our core activities, the trekking. Since then the group has evolved to much more. I mean, and then I'm not talking about really outdoor activities, but more about additional complementary sensible activities like cleanups. So given the fact that we almost go out on a weekly basis to beautiful, unspoiled, virgin places in nature, we are quite sensitive. I mean, we feel very connected with nature. And we came across a couple of places, including Tada here, which was really impacted by tourism, like in terms of garbage, pollution, people, young groups going there to get drunk, breaking beer bottles along the stream. So in 2009, November, we kind of did our own first cleanup, which was we called it Save Tada, where we had some 150 people collecting 2 tons of garbage and kind of basically wanted, I mean, 1 week later the place was again polluted, but we at least wanted to kind of make a strong awareness, send a strong message to the media and the social media that something is wrong with this kind of tourism, that people should actually respect and preserve nature. This has grown a lot since then. We have actually been organizing coastal cleanups closer to the city, like Chennai City last year. September we cleaned up 20 kilometers of beaches all the way from Marina till Injambakam and collected more than 50 tons of garbage with 5,500 people. So not just people from this club, but involving a lot of corporates, NGOs and schools to basically create that continuous awareness on conservation of nature. One other nice thing that I'm pretty proud about is that we also have these what we call social treks. Social treks are basically treks where we pick up some kids, 20 kids, Saturday morning or Sunday morning from an orphanage. We match them with 20 of our volunteers and we kind of take them out, sponsored, and we sponsor the transport and the food, and kind of also take them to the same places where we go, beautiful natural places where kids can play in the stream and have the, experience of a lifetime basically, because many times these kids don't get outside the compound wall of their homes. So those kids also really get a wonderful experience. One other thing we do, I mean, if you really want to get a feel first before you step out with us in the jungle, there's a lot of these kind of awareness camps or learning or workshops basically. So we do workshops on trekking, we do workshops on here. This is in my living room on snakes, so which are the snake species in South India, which are the venomous snakes, non-venomous snakes. We do workshops on photography, on all kinds of topics actually related to nature. So in case you're a little afraid to step out first, this is the best way to kind of get to know us. And here again you can see the growth of the group throughout those 5-6 years. This is already a little bit of an older presentation. Yeah, so and the main thing is, that I think the wonderful thing about this trekking is that you come together as a group of 20 people, right, on Saturday morning. Many of these people are strangers, I would say. In any group of that goes out there, is at least 50% of the people will be totally new, have never joined, coming in for the first time. That at the end of the weekend, when you come back to Chennai, you will have actually a very strong bonding going on together, a very kind of strong bonding going on between people who didn't know each other before the weekend, and really become friends for life, more than, given the fact that they have gone through so many things together through that weekend, camp together, cook together, kind of climb together, cross streams together, help each other to overcome natural obstacles, and basically know each other much better than, say, the people you work along with in the office for the last 5 years, basically. So this is a little bit what I wanted to show you. I think this has given you a little bit of a feeling of what we do, and I would welcome each and every one of you to join some of the activities. We do a lot of activities like cycling, small easy treks nearby the city. It's not all some of the hardcore slides which you have seen here. A lot of nice things are happening. We do runs, we do triathlons. We did a triathlon a couple of weekends ago in which 150 people participated, swimming, cycling, running. A lot of opportunities are there to get fit, to get healthy basically. I think it's very important that we all maintain a little bit of an active lifestyle so we remain healthy till later age. Any questions?